always. So we are on youtube.com, facebook.com, and mixlr.com, all /Wake Up Call DT. And it is a pleasure and an honor to be here with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. So we are here in the broadcast, having a great time. And I am so happy to be here with you inside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour. Not one of, not a, but the Fantasy Football Power Hour. And with that being said, we are going to jump right into the mock draft here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I know you've been waiting very patiently, and I appreciate you for doing that. So here we go. We're going to start the mock draft, and that is going to randomly tell me where I'm going to be picking. So I am going to be the 7th pick in this draft, and you're going to see me going up against the computer this whole time. Obviously, the computer is intelligent. This is not a computer that I set up to give me the picks I wanted. So Jonathan Taylor goes first overall. I am not surprised. Christian McCaffrey second, not surprised. Austin Eckler third, not surprised. Cooper Kupp not being the first wide receiver taken off, and Justin going a little bit earlier. That is surprising, but Jefferson goes fourth, then Delvin Cook, and then Cooper Kupp, which leaves me with pick number 7. And I have the opportunity to take Najee Harris or Derrick Henry. This is a tough one, but I'm going to go with Derrick Henry in this one. And Najee Harris goes right after I pick him. So then we see Jamar Chase and Travis Kelce off the board, DeAndre Swift, Devontae Adams, and Joe Mixon, which comes back to me. I can't help this one. I got to take Stephon Diggs. So I'll let you see the full screen here.
Wow!
And obviously the computer reacts to these picks as well. So when they come in, you hear that chime, and then you'll hear people respond at different times here. So some guys taken off the board here. Team 1 going with Jonathan Taylor, and then coming back around with Javonte Williams and Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, and Alvin Kamara. You see that this draft is deep here. We're 3 rounds in a 10-team PPR snake draft, and Aaron Jones is in the 3rd round. Mike Evans is in the 3rd round. Saquon Barkley's in the 3rd round. Kamara's in the 3rd round. So kind of interesting here. I went with Derrick Henry and Stephon Diggs so far, which gives me an opportunity to look around here and see who I would go after. So, you know, there's definitely some picks I can take here. There's some people I can go to, and there's been a lot of wide receivers taken off the board. So this is a tough one for me. I could go running back. I could go wide receiver. Now, there are some guys that are left out here currently, and this is obviously the ranking by this system, but I feel like at this point, I'm going to go with Patty Mahomes, which is a little bit earlier for me, but there's a lot of guys that were taken off the board at wide receiver and quarterback, or pardon me, wide receiver and running back. So you see in round 1, Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler, Justin Jefferson, Delvin Cook, Cooper Kupp. I took Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, Jamar Chase, Travis Kelce ended out that round. Coming back in the snake, DeAndre Swift coming early for me. Devontae Adams, Joe Mixon, Stephon Diggs. And I say early because there's other players I would have drafted before him, which were the players that were drafted after him, which are Devontae Adams, Joe Mixon, Stephon Diggs. CeeDee Lamb gets drafted. Second tight end, Mark Andrews comes off the board, who I really like. Nick Chubb. Josh Allen's the first quarterback off. Tyreek Hill, Javonte Williams. Remember, Tyreek Hill's in Miami now, so that was a little bit high of a pick for me. Deebo Samuel, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, Mike Evans, Saquon, Leonard Fournette. I took Pat Mahomes, and then Justin Herbert went right after me. So that's 3 quarterbacks that have been chosen. They're color-coded by who they are, right? So running backs are green, wide receivers are blue, tight ends are orange, and quarterbacks are that pinkish red. And then we see Kyle Pitts go off, Deontay Johnson, A.J. Brown, who I was thinking about, but I let go a little bit deeper here, and you see how he faded into the 4th round, first part of the 4th round. Then T. Higgins, James Conner's another guy I was looking at here. So I have quarterback, running back, wide receiver right now, so that means I'm probably going back here to one of my other ones that I can get after here at the running back position, as I'm seeing, you know, some guys they're shying away from here. I'm going to go with Antonio Gibson. I like Antonio Gibson. You could see that I've shied away from going after Zeke Elliott, and that's because I'm not really confident about Zeke Elliott and that he is going to be the dominant guy. You know, I think Tony Pollard out of Memphis has an opportunity here. I was going to go Travis Etienne. It's like this computer, every time we do the mock draft, can read my mind, because I was going to go with ETN, and the computer ends up drafting ETN on the second wave back here right before I could get to him. So interesting to see that happen, but the computer seems to do that a lot to me. So I'm going to say I'm surprised, but I'm really not. And so, we take a look at that, and I can, I can see that Travis Etienne going in round number 5. So I'm not mad at that by any stretch of the imagination as we take a look at this mock draft that's going on. Round number 4 ended with Zeke, Akers, Keenan Allen, who I was also looking at. I can't believe he went a little bit deeper here than I thought he would. Breece Hall, he's a rookie. I do like him. He can do both things, catching and receiving. It's PPR league, or I should say catching and running, PPR league, but I was going to let him dip a little bit. Darren Waller, then David Montgomery. You see the tight ends are going early here. George Kittle fades to the 5th round, which I understand because his output hasn't been great and he's been hurt. And we'll have to see how he's going to do with Trey Lance. And then we have DK Metcalf, who, remember, does not have Russell Wilson anymore. Jalen Waddle going late here to me. I think he would have gone sooner. George Kittle, Terry McLaurin, Josh Jacobs in a contract year, so watch that, and Travis Etienne. So that brings me to my 5th pick. And for me, I'm going to probably be looking at wide receiver at this point. And there's 2 guys out there that I like that have an opportunity of making an immediate impact. And that's because they have Russell Wilson. So I'm going to go with Jerry Jeudy in this one. And so Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, as I projected in the past, is going to go right after. It's either whoever gets Jeudy, whoever gets Sutton, it's going to go back and forth there. So one and then the other will probably go because it'll make people think about it. Michael Pittman Jr. goes next, and he has a new quarterback throwing to him now. And then Lamar Jackson, who I was going to let fade a little bit. I didn't want to take 2 quarterbacks so close. DJ Moore goes here a little bit later than I thought in round number 6. And then we have Joe Burrow, who's getting drafted a lot higher now after people are seeing his value. Mike Williams going, so both of the receivers from the Chargers are gone. So I have 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and 1 quarterback. At this point, I'm probably going to take a look at and see what's available left at tight end in round number 6, just to get a feel for it. We have TJ Hawkinson, we have Dalton Schultz, we have Dallas Goddard, Dawson Knox. I'm gonna let this kind of fade a little bit here because there's a sleeper guy that I'm gonna go after. So I'm not gonna go in the tight end region. So I'm gonna go back to the best available here, and there's a few guys that. A few ways I can go here, but I think, obviously knowing who's throwing to him, I'm going to go with Chris Godwin. Mike Evans has already been taken. So then we see Amari Cooper. We see Jalen Hurts. That's an early pick, and in front of some other quarterbacks that I think, like Kyler Murray going late here. Allen Robinson, J.K. Dobbins. It's a question mark because, Baltimore's best running back is Lamar Jackson. So, and there's definitely a lot in that backfield, so that's a tough one for me. Dalton Schultz is one of the guys I was looking at. Elijah Mitchell for San Francisco at running back. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, look at how he's fallen here to round number 7, which is crazy, but seeing him here in round number 7, and then Brandon Cooks in Houston makes sense. Michael Thomas, we don't know what he is and when he's going to play, so you see him down here. Then Juju Smith-Schuster, who's now in Kansas City. Miles Sanders gets drafted late as well in this draft, so that brings me to mine, and you can see that I have 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, so at this point, probably going to go back to the running back well and see what's available here, and we have A.J. Dillon, we have Damian Harris. This is a guy that I'm going to pick up here because I think he's going to be the starter, albeit a rookie, and that's Kenneth Walker III for Seattle, coming out of Michigan State via Wake Forest. So then we see A.J. Dillon go, Damian Harris, Amon-Ra St. Brown in Detroit, and then Kareem Hunt, who allegedly is not very happy where he's at currently, but he's still in Cleveland. That's why I shied away from that one. And we saw Nick Chubb here. Did we see Nick Chubb? That's a question mark here. Looking for Nick Chubb on the board sometime. Oh, yeah, went in the 2nd round. So 7th overall in the 2nd round. So you saw Nick Chubb go already. Adam Thielen going late here in the 8th round. Maybe late to some, not to others. I could understand him dipping there. Justin Jefferson going early. Still, I would have picked Cooper Kupp over him. And then Cordero Patterson going here as a running back in Atlanta. Used to be a wide receiver. So it's back to my pick. And I'm going to go back here, take a look at the tight end position, see if some of my guys are still there. And they definitely are. So I'm going to let that go. And I'm going to head back here and take a look at running backs and wide receivers. Now, Hollywood Brown is in Arizona right now, and so is DeAndre Hopkins. And they're both... DeAndre's suspended, though. And you have Rashad Bateman, a few other guys here. So at this point, I'm going to go with Hollywood Brown in the 8th round.
Wow.
And so you're going to see Dallas Goddard goes... Darnell Mooney, Drake London, the rookie, goes. I was thinking about him. DeAndre Hopkins, who's suspended, he goes. Russell Wilson goes, and Tom Brady here in the 8th round. Rashad Bateman, Gabe Davis, another guy I looked at from Buffalo. Tony Pollard going here. I like that pick for Team 3. TJ Hawkinson, another tight end off the board. Devontae Smith, wide receiver out of Philly. Remember, A.J. Brown's there now, and A.J. Brown went in the 4th round, first pick of the 4th round, which makes sense. Aaron Rodgers going later here, and I understand that too. And so I have the 7th pick of the 9th round. And I'm going to go with 7th pick in the 9th round. At this point, I should probably take a look at my tight end because I know that a bunch of them have been picked. I'm going to go with my guy, the Muth. I'm going with Pat Freiermuth here. Fully anticipating that somebody was going to take Dawson Knox, and they didn't yet. Brandon Ayuk going. Chris Olave, the wide receiver, rookie from New Orleans. And Mr. Catch Happy Hunter Renfrow, he goes. I like that pick because this is a PPR league especially. Treylon Burks goes to the same team that drafted A.J. Brown, which ironically is funny because in real life, it's the same team that drafted these two. In real life, the Tennessee Titans drafted A.J. Brown and Treylon Burks, let go of one and grabbed the other in a move that looked like they didn't want to pay, so they just went and got another guy. So Devin Singletary going here for Buffalo. I'm going to leave that thing alone. And then Tyler Lockett, he dipped here because he doesn't have Russell Wilson. However, DK Metcalf still went higher, went in the 5th round instead of the 10th round. So 5 rounds before in the first pick of that round, and this being the 3rd pick of the 10th round for Tyler Lockett. But, those are 2 guys I'm staying away from not having Russell Wilson. So we'll go back and we'll take a look and see who we have here at running back. And there's a couple different guys I can go to here and that I think are going to get some good time out there on the ground. And I'm going to go with James Cook at this point, the rookie out of Georgia that I've interviewed, because I think he's going to take over in Buffalo. And then we see Chase Edmonds, who went from Arizona, is now in Miami. He goes there. And then Alan Lazard. And then we see Ramondre Stevenson, who's in his 2nd season in the backfield for the Patriots. Elijah Moore, wide receiver for the Jets, in his 2nd season there with them. And then we see Garrett Wilson, another rookie taken wide receiver for the Jets. Dak Prescott going in the 10th round here. Then Zach Ertz, Rashad Penny, Chase Claypool, who has a new quarterback that I think eventually we're going to see Kenny Pickett. And then we see Dawson Knox go. Matty Stafford going late here. And now 2 quarterbacks for Team 5 with Jalen Hurts and Matty Stafford. And then Russell Gage, which brings me to my pick. So we'll see what I have here. Now I have 4 running backs currently. I have 4 wide receivers. I have 1 quarterback and 1 tight end at this point as we're in round number 11. So we'll go and look at the best available here. Take a look at this sheet. We have Melvin Gordon. We have Trey Lance, Robert Woods. I don't necessarily agree with. And these are not my rankings, mind you. So these are the rankings. So I'm going to go with a guy that I think is a sneaky little pick here, and that's Sky Moore. Because there's no Tyreek Hill, and somebody's got to take over the load there. So I'm going to take my 2nd rookie and Sky Moore, my 1st wide receiver rookie. And then you see Melvin Gordon go, who I thought about. And then Robert Woods goes, and then Trey Lance, who I also looked at. So we have that set. And then Bills defense. I never pick a defense or a kicker until the end, so not a fan of that pick. in the beginning of the 12th round. Mike Gesicki going as well. And then Christian Kirk, Jacksonville wide receiver, who they paid a lot of money to. He's there with Trevor Lawrence. So once again, we take a look at mine as I am the 7th pick here. And so we're doing a snake draft back and forth. So I currently have 5 wide receivers, 4 running backs, 1 tight end, and 1 quarterback. So at this point, as we're in round number 12, I'm going to go back to running backs here. And there's a couple guys here that I still think are going to get some time and some opportunity. And I'm just going to look through here just for argument's sake. But I'm going to go with James Robinson because I think he's going to get some time out there with ETN. And not a bad pick in round number 12. Derek Carr goes, Hunter Henry, and then Alexander Madison, Kadarius Toney, Cole Kmet, the tight end goes, Tyler Boyd goes, Michael Carter, another guy I looked at, he went, Isaiah Spiller, who I think will get some time with the Chargers, despite Eckler being there. Kirk Cousins goes in round number 13, 3rd pick of that round. Bucks defense, Rams defense, Dameon Pierce, the rookie running back from Houston, which brings me to my pick. And as you look at this, 5 running backs that I have, and then 5 wide receivers. And so at this point in round number 13, at the bottom part of round number 13, I'm probably going to go grab my 2nd quarterback here. And taking a look at the quarterback situation. See, in our league, you have team quarterback, so it would say Jacksonville. It wouldn't say Trevor Lawrence. If you got Atlanta, you would get Mariota and Desmond Ridder. So I do like Tua, and I do think he has more weapons out there. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Tua at this point here. So I'm going to pick Tua as my 2nd quarterback. Niners defense goes. Nyheim Hines goes. Ronald Jones, who's now in Kansas City, mind you, not Tampa. And then we see the Denver tight end. And I'm going to call him Akwe. He goes. And then a kicker goes in round number 14. Disagree with that. Irv Smith goes, another tight end off the board. And we're only going 15 rounds here. So at this point, I believe this is only 15 rounds. Yeah. So at this point, I'm going to have to take my kicker and my defense. We go 18 rounds in mine, but this is just a mock draft. So I'm going to go. This man did a good job last year. I'm going to go with Evan McPherson, the kicker from the Bengals. Then you see Harrison Butker go. Valdez Scantling, who's now with Kansas City. Deshaun Watson goes 2nd to last round in this draft. And then we see Carlson go, the kicker out of Vegas. Chargers defense. Prater goes. Ravens defense. Matt Gay from the Rams, kicker. Saints defense. Bass, the Buffalo kicker. Nick Folk, who continues to stay in the league. God bless to him. He is the Patriots kicker. And then we see the Cowboys defense, which comes back to me. And I'll be taking a defense at this point. You know what? I'm going to believe in my guy. I'm going to believe in Nate Hackett. I'm going to take the Broncos defense. So that's going to end things up here. And then you see Young Ho Koo, one of the best names ever. He goes to Atlanta. Atlanta kicker goes to team number 8. And then the Packers defense and the Mr. Irrelevant of this draft, Brandon McManus, the kicker out of Denver. So that draft is now finalized. This is our mock draft. So we take a look back at my team. Wake up call, drafting against the entire computer for the other 9 picks. I went with Derrick Henry, well, let's look at who we got here. So we got Pat Mahomes as my quarterback, backup Tua. Then running backs, I have Derrick Henry, Antonio Gibson, Kenneth Walker III, who's a rookie, James Cook, who's a rookie, and James Robinson are my running backs. I got 5 of them. Then my wide receivers, Stephon Diggs, Jerry Jeudy, Chris Godwin, Marquise Hollywood Brown, and rookie Sky Moore. Got 5 of those. My tight end, Freiermuth. And I only have 1 tight end on my team. So I have Pat Freiermuth here because this is 15. If it was 18, I would have looked at another one. And then my kicker, Evan McPherson from the Bengals. And then my defense, the Denver Broncos. Shout out to my guy, Nate Hackett, the head coach of the team. So that's who I have taking a look at all of this right now. And let's see if I can save this. So I'm going to create a copy of it on my clipboard. And I'll be able to go back and look at it here. So let's see here. Probably this one. Is this the one I'm going to be able to look at? So, yep, this is the one. So we'll be able to see that right here all finished up. And so you see the draft all completed here as we've copied that to my clipboard. And that has been our mock draft. So that's what it looks like. Jonathan Taylor going first overall. I'm not surprised. Travis Kelce going in the first round. I'm not surprised. Really, I'm not surprised by the first round at all, except for Cooper Kupp not going first at wide receiver and Justin Jefferson going. A little bit surprised that Derrick Henry didn't go before, but I was able to grab him, maybe because he, has had recent injury. So Stephon Diggs, too, going after Devontae Adams, and DeAndre Swift going where he went in the second round. A little confusing to me. Pat Mahomes, the fact that the computer let him get to me after Josh Allen got drafted, I was a little bit surprised about that. But you see the tight ends are going early here. I don't agree with this. I think you should be in green and blue in your fantasy football draft. And what I mean by that is I think your first couple rounds should be running backs and quarterbacks, running backs and wide receivers. Let me say that again. Running backs and wide receivers. So green and blue on this screen. I think your first two rounds should be running backs and wide receivers, maybe a tight end, maybe a Kelce, maybe a Mark Andrews, right? But for the most part, I feel like running back and wide receiver is what you should see here, which on this screen would be green and blue. So I'm a little surprised at some of these moves, but I mean, for most part, it was outside of Josh Allen, Mark Andrews, and Travis Kelce, which I can understand. Someone's going to go high on Kelce. There's a lot of Bills fans in Central New York. I feel like someone's going to pick Josh Allen pretty quickly here, or Pat Mahomes will come through. And then, you see in round 3 how some have fallen here, right? Saquon Barkley, Mike Evans, Aaron Jones, Kamara, and I got Pat Mahomes in the bottom part of round 3. So a little bit interesting here. And then, seeing A.J. Brown for Philadelphia. I thought about him. It's a new team for him, though, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. James Conner, I do like it. What's going on, but are they going to let him have the majority of the carries? Last season, he had almost 20 rushing touchdowns, so that was huge. Antonio Gibson, I was able to get him. I like that. Zeke falling here. I let him fall. Not a huge fan of Zeke, and I think his stock is dropping right now. Keenan Allen going late in the fourth round was a little surprising. Breece Hall went a little bit earlier than I thought he would. He's a rookie. Remember, Michael Carter's only a sophomore on that team at running back for the Jets. So some interesting picks here, but definitely something to look at and mull over here as we go through it here. And this is a 10-team, 15-round PPR draft. So that's what you got to see here on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and on wakeupcall, on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and you got to hear it on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. So with that being said, we're going to take a quick step aside here where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we will come back here to wrap up today's broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Appreciate you as always, and so very thankful to have you be a part of the show where sports meets that thing called life. So like I said, we'll take a step aside for a fast break, and we'll be back here. And let's see. Greg had some things. Sorry, Greg, we were going through the mock draft, so I didn't see this. So what do you say? Took the Muth a bit too early. Fine strategy. Let's see what he says here. Fine strategy to wait on tight end. Don't be afraid to wait longer if you want Muth or Knox to get max value. Yeah, I kind of, at this point, I did it, though this computer did things a little bit differently, and normally I would be waiting on that, so I can understand that sentiment. You can wait on more, also fine pick, but pull the trigger too early, in Greg's opinion. Okay. Can you consider dropping the minimum of 2 tight ends, please? So, and then Wei Koo for Young Ho Koo. And then you should only have 1 tight end on your team. Yeah, I mean, and there are, times where I have 1 tight end on my roster, of course. So definitely appreciate the input here, Greg. And, I think with the Muth, I could have waited a little bit longer. And Sky Moore, too. I was looking at the fact that, in my opinion, there was a wide receiver or 2 that I should have went on earlier, and I did not. So I went with Sky, hoping for a jack of all trades in a PPR situation, which is why I did what I did. So we'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, we will wrap up today's show and get you on your way here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Appreciate you as always, and thank you for all you do here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, just to be a part of the show every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
Hey everyone, it's Sydney from iDrive in Orlando. We can't wait to welcome Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on site at 8801 International Drive in Orlando. Broadcasting live Monday, August 22nd through Friday, August 26th during our lunch each day from noon to 2 p.m. Come see us girls, hear from Dan and his special guests, and preview the college and NFL seasons from the greatest seat for all sporting events. Hooters iDrive in Orlando.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. Appreciate you being here, as always, on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and can't thank you enough for being a part of the show every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We just brought you the Mock Draft 1.0 for the 2022-23 NFL season, giving me an opportunity to go up against a 10-team PPR draft, snake draft. So I went up against 9 different CPU teams there. So the computer drafted against me, and love doing that. Love utilizing this. Thanks to Sleeper for allowing us the opportunity to mock draft and, you know, giving us a very user-friendly free app where you can do this. You could do it on your phone. I have the app on my phone, and we can do it on the computer. So I want to give credit where credit's due to Sleeper, because without them, it wouldn't be as user-friendly for us to do that. So thank you for all the work that you do to everybody over at Sleeper. Much appreciation and much respect, and credit where credit is due, and many thanks to you. So got to do that with you. Got to do the fantasy football mock draft in a 10-team PPR league with 15 rounds. Now, mine are usually 10 to 12 teams, and they are 18 rounds, but I wanted to just give us a feel for it. And like I said, I was drafting against the computer who had the other 9 teams in the PPR snake draft. And so we were able to do that. You can go back, watch this, check it out. Think about it. Give me your thoughts. This is my 1.0. So obviously there's plenty more to come and a lot of trial and error. I'm probably going to do the mock draft on my phone a few times, to put it lightly, before I end up drafting for real in our Florida League and our Central New York Leagues as well. So shout out to our Florida League. We'll be drafting down at Hooters when we're there for our entire week of broadcasts. And we'll be drafting on Wednesday, August 24th. We'll be live Monday, August 22nd to Friday, August 26th. And that will be on location at Hooters I Drive on 8801 International Drive in Orlando, Florida, right by Disney, SeaWorld, as well as Universal Studios. And we'll be there from noon to 2, so come see us at lunch for those of you that are going to be down there. And, of course, come out and hang out for the draft as well. Wednesday, August 24th, we'll be drafting, and after the broadcast. And then we'll also be drafting here at the Wildcat Sports Pub on 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York for our Central and Upstate New York leagues. Those coming up in later August, early September. And I'm excited to get those emails out to you today so we can get that all set up and ready to go. So thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you for watching and listening every Monday through Friday, like I said, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on mixlr.com, facebook.com, and youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on facebook.com/live-now-dt and wakeupcalldt.com from the Cafe Kubal Studios. And for the Wildcat Sports Pub, the place to watch all your games, the place to have your fantasy football draft, the place to order from when you're watching the games, if you're staying at home or if you have a draft at your house, go to the Wildcat, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. Open 7 days a week, indoor and outdoor seating as weather permits, and for takeout and delivery, 315-487-2222. That's 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat Sports Pub. We'll see you out there, and we'll see you soon on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Thanks to Cafe Kubal. Thank you to you. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. As always, God bless, no stress, do your best. We'll talk soon.